All right. Well, it's a little.
Hey,
What's going
it's
on,
a one way
everybody?
stop if you want to rock and roll. No,
Hey, it's not Thursday night. What are we doing? Hey, what's
oh my
what's all this?
goodness, it's Saturday. What?
Uh,
It's
I
way too
know.
early.
I
Two
know.
o'clock in the afternoon. That's too early for me to be even awake.
Yeah, but you got to rock. If you can't rock in the afternoon, you can't rock at all.
Listen, I like to party all night and sleep all day. What happened to you?
Oh, wait. You
Where'd you
should.
go?
Oh, hold on. You should see. Wait a minute. You
Ah,
do.
who cares? Who cares what I?
Ah,
Listen, after Pete drained me, the thrashing I took from Pete,
you
he
took
was
a
bitching.
beating.
He look, you could perform a clinic on how he dissected me last night. I mean, the technical know-how of how to dismantle a person. I felt naked afterwards, and I just cried myself to sleep. And now I'm here.
Oh my God! Look at it. Chat room is already hopping. We got Jeff Rule, brother Chris Fastback, brother Rich, and brother Cyber Gunter. What's up, everyone? It's great to see
Welcome
you guys.
everybody.
So this, yeah, Jeff Rule said Pete was in rare form for. He was,
Oh, I'm
man.
I'm just telling you, don't ever get on Pete's bad side because I mean I was in the corner. Tears were shed, and
No, I
and
saw.
I don't, there's no shame in a grown man crying himself to sleep. But I want to tell everybody in chat that if I don't say hi to you, I'll say hi right now. But I'm on my phone because we're having technical difficulties with my computer, so I can't really see the chat. It's very fuzzy for me. So if I miss your name, I apologize.
and for
But
once, and for once, it's not me having trouble. It's usually me. It's usually always me.
Mike
So,
threw me a curveball and he said something about Skype, and I said I didn't know it was 1995 again. So
oh,
I said
come on.
I said I'll have to restart I have to dust it off. You know, I had to turn the stones and the pulley system and get it back up and working again.
You had to feed the gerbil.
Yeah, yeah,
Jeff Roll said Pete took your computer out. That's rough.
yeah.
Dragon Heart
Listen, my
Yobi.
computer did not want to. Yeah, it did not want to turn back on. It
Uh,
just it was afraid. I'm just telling you.
all right. So what do you see on the screen? Are you just watching the chat? Is that what?
I see what I would see if I was watching you live.
Okay.
Except I see myself twice, which is weird. But I don't want to touch anything, so
Okay.
it's fine. See the chat; it's just blurry, but that's probably just my bad eyesight. As
Well,
Pete says, I'm getting old. So
I was gonna say, man, you do wear glasses, but I realized the other day that as I was trying to game, so I game with a bunch of guys last night that we play Halo, and I put my glasses on for the first time in a long time. It's getting there.
well,
So
I've had glasses since middle school, and I was a very young and small lad. Well, I was a young lad when I was in middle school. I was a very small lad, and the only glasses that would fit me were children's glasses. So they were Garfield glasses. Yeah, that's really, you really want to show off to the girls. When you go to seventh, eighth grade, ninth grade, you really want to show off those Garfield glasses.
yeah.
I mean, that made me such a popular person. I'm telling you.
Did you have a shirt with a little geranimal on it? Did you have the little crocodile shirt?
You mean like the Izod? No.
No,
When
they were
when I was
called no. When we were kids, they were called geranimals or
I had
geranimals.
those. I had those. I'll tell you this: when Izod came out, they had some generic version. Maybe it was that Gur Animals that you're saying.
I think that's what it
They were
was.
they were unisex. They were skin tight, and I had hand me downs. By the way, I only had four sisters that were older than me, so hand me downs from girls. Yeah, that made me really popular in school. Um, the tough skin, uh, high water bell bottoms, tough skins with the very very tight shirts. that could be worn by girls, Yeah, that made me very popular. If you're ever wondering why I'm so strange, maybe that's
Oh, I
delve
don't
into
know.
some of
I
my
don't know if we ever have to wonder that, Mike. We've
listen.
seen you enough. I've seen you enough on PM and the PM to know.
I only show you very. Trust me, I only show you very minuscule on that channel.
Yeah, I bet.
There's a large dam of crazy behind that.
Well, we've got a whole new show we could bring it out on.
Oh my goodness! Yes, this is the new
Oh,
show.
man.
Squared.
Yes.
Mike of course came up with the name. The other Mike, not me. And we were batting it back and forth and coming up with silly names. He said, "Well, what about M squared?" I said, "That's perfect." And he said, "Yeah, it is perfect because I created it." And I said, "Yeah, you did."
I didn't say it that way.
Said, let's go.
Wait, don't you hold on? Whoa, don't you take your anger on OEB Pete out on me?
What anchor?
Don't you take it out on me? So no, M squared sits.
I can't troll you during NLG. I can't troll you then. I've been very good this year. I've kept my
well, only because people in the chat room don't understand, so they go, "What is going on? Who is this guy?" Like I had people DM me, "What is with this Mike Garvey guy? What's his problem?" And I'm like, "He's just playing."
A little inside baseball. When I was on the channel, I was 3 different mics, and I was fighting myself. Mike chats me, like private messages me, and he goes, let's cut it down to 1 mic, please." I said, "Okay, no. I think he's had enough."
Yeah,
and I've been good ever since then. I have.
No, you have been good. You have been good. But I enjoy the little Dreamcast trolling back and forth. That's always fun.
That's gone for this year. Like I said, I'm trying to keep my New Year's resolutions. The first time in 40-something years, I don't know, 40-something years, that I'll be able to keep my 47 years. I'll be able to keep my my New Year's resolution. Wow, that's what I want to do.
We're the same age. See, we're not only M squared, we're 47 squared.
Yeah, 74. Yeah, that's right.
70, that's right. So
you're a tiger in the annals of Chinese zodiac.
I believe so. I believe so.
Here's an interesting fact. My dad, he was born in a year that was the tiger, and he was his firstborn male. I'm the firstborn male tiger, and my firstborn son Tony, he's tiger, and we didn't name him Tony the Tiger. But
that would just be cruel. And then you put a Geranimal shirt on him and send him to school.
Mike, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. There's a reason why he's named Tony.
Okay.
And I don't know if I should get into that.
Well, maybe for a future episode.
We'll tease that for a next episode.
All right. So for people who are just joining us, and I see some friends of NLG in the chat room. I see all those beautiful little greens. That's those are our friends of NLG, the membership that we started on Thursday. And those guys, man, I tell you what, these people in the chat room, man, made me cry on Thursday. That's after the week I had, talking about actual tears. It was coming, because I mean, people are just there's good people in the world, Mike, and they tend to come here.
Yeah.
I
totally like the fact that, they're going to pay it forward, with the prize, that was given out. I think that's great. And you did get emotional, but you should get emotional because you have a great group of people that you've cultivated over the years.
Well, I haven't cultivated. I've joined. I mean, no, just a community, that I found. I love to be able to spend a couple hours last night playing Halo with a bunch of guys. And lady, because there were 2 ladies. There was Mav's wife Caitlin and Assassin Lupa. So we had it's just cool. It's great. So yeah, Chris says next level cult. I don't know if you want to go that far. So let's tell them a little bit about what this is. So as Born, somebody did explain to Born, but I was gonna in a second. M squared is Mike and Mike. So this chair is Michael Garvey, and I am of course Michael Mullis. And what we're gonna do is once a month get together for an hour, and I promised everybody an hour because also at 3 o'clock the indie game show comes on with Indie Gamers, so I don't want to step on another Gamers United Guild. What are you doing?
What?
Why
Hang
are we
on.
looking at your chest hair? So,
Oh, you don't want to see that, no.
we just did.
All right, well, look away. Avert your eyes.
I now I'm crying for a different reason. So.
Are you-
Uh-oh.
Oh, now I'm stuck.
Now oh, we're getting out of the gates quick. All right, so while you're unsticking yourself, so this is going to be a monthly show, about an hour. We're going to do some kind of quickie hit stuff. So we're going to do something that stood out for us in the past month, no matter what it is. Some little thoughts. We've got some random topics that we're going to just kind of throw out there and give a minute or two on. A main topic of the month, and then a wrap up. So we'll start out with our standouts. And
What stood out to you?
what stood out to me? So what stood out to me was the Lucasfilm Games announcement, which came late, but we've only, it's the 16th of the month. That Lucasfilm game announcement really stood out to me this week. I mean, and not just that they announced that they were bringing their games back into a, kind of into the fold, where Disney decided they were going to kind of regain control of their IPs, but then to announce a brand new Star Wars from Ubisoft and Massive Studios, who of course is behind The Division, and an Indiana Jones game that just
I know you were showing that old game. That looks great. I wish that came out.
I wish it did too. What ended up happening was that became Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, but without all of that ragdoll stuff that came with it. Some of that physics engine made it into the game, but not all the stuff that you saw in that prototype demo. But I mean, just to have that a fresh Indiana Jones game coming. So I mean, that was my standout. They really, it wasn't just, hey, we're gonna start making our own games again, or they're not gonna publish them. They're just, they to come out with actual announcements was pretty exciting for me.
Yeah, I mean, with the advent of Uncharted and the new version of Tomb Raider, I'd really like to see the take that they have on Indiana Jones, and I'd really like them to do something unique, because Indiana Jones as a character is different and more unique than those. Um, I mean, we've seen the acrobat, we've seen the Ringling Brothers. They jump around and they do incredibly crazy stuff. But the best parts about Indiana Jones for me is when, he's getting beat up, and then you see him in the ship, and he's like, it's not the age, it's the mileage, and he's all sword, like he's an old soul even in the first one, and I think they should really hone in on that, like have it actiony, but have it more grounded in a realistic kind of thing, or even like I love the comical way that some of the, like when they they're in the Jeep or the truck in the first one, and they just both look and they're like, uh-oh, and then they laugh, and then he starts beating them up again. You don't see that in video games now. Like you just see like this all out action and stealth, and then action, and then jumping, 20 feet down to the guy and grabbing and kicking the gun up in your air, and it's like, that's great. That's great for what it is, but I don't want them to duplicate that, because we already have that. Let's bring back the. I mean, to be honest, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas said that it was like the serial, the shorts that used to get on like the Rocketeer and stuff on
Mhm.
1950s black and white movies. They would have like shorts. They would have like 15-minute segments
I
of
used
like,
to I used to see the
Superman.
Rocketeer. I used to watch
Yeah,
those. You
yeah,
could
those
still
are
get
fun.
them. You could still get them on certain places.
Yeah, make it campy like that, but the cool kind of campy that I mean, that's what I think of Indiana Jones is like a cool kind of campy. I mean, you got to keep that style. Like when he's running over the hill, and then there's 1,000 people chasing him. You got to make it ridiculous like that. Like, make it like whoa. There's no way to get away from that. I think that's funny. I like that. That's my thought.
No, it's a good thought. I want it to be an adventure game. I want it to be in the vein of what Indiana Jones really was, and you know you got to have one fight where the boss gets like chewed up in a shipper shredder or something, or you got to have. See, that's the one thing that's always been missing from the Indiana Jones game is the gruesome death of you beating someone into a propeller.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know, or their headdress getting caught in a masher, which is what
yeah.
happened in the second one.
I love
So
that kind of stuff. I mean, to be honest with you, who's to say they have to create something entirely new? Uh, just do the first of the trilogy, um, and just stand it, retread
nope.
it. I would love to see all that stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for grounded. As long as it doesn't take away from the game, I would like to see something in a more adventure style in the theme of like Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, which was a LucasArts. It was a point and click game that had that great mixture of puzzle solving and
Yeah,
thought and stuff like, but put into a an action adventure setting. Um, but
I'm
here's
gonna
my
have to look that one up because I think from PM and the PM, I didn't like point and clicks until I started playing them recently. So I actually, because I started playing them, I've been picking up quite a few of them. Um, the Deponia series, they were on sale, and I know that LucasArts had a ton of them. So I'm gonna have to look at that. GOG probably has them.
They do,
Uh,
and you can emulate it with Scum VM.
yeah, I think some of those games are $9, at max, and then on sale they're kind of cheaper. I was thinking about getting Blade Runner. I think that was another point and click around that time as well.
All right. All right. So before we get to your standout, one quick question: if you're doing an Indiana Jones game, first person view or third person view?
Third person.
Oh, thank you. All right, cool. Now we don't
When
have
I
to
say
talk.
ground, okay, but Mike, when I say grounded in reality, I don't mean that there can't be fantastical things, and I don't mean that there can't be amazing stunts. I mean that when I see Nathan Drake jump from something, he lands it. Like when I see Indiana Jones jump, he's like, oh, and he's like,
Right,
oh, like I want it to be where he barely makes it, kind of stuff. He can
right,
still do
because he's
fantastic stuff, but
yeah.
he somehow gets himself hurt. I always love that fact. Like I just love that he's all beat up, and I don't want him jumping 20 feet in the air and kicking up a gun, and that acrobatic is cool for what it is, but that's not Indiana Jones.
No,
That's
it's
Nathan.
not. No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I mean, Nathan's cool, but I want something different. Like you don't want to imitate somebody. You want to just stay in your lane. So
I hear you. No, 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 no.
yeah,
I'm in total agreement with you. That's
yeah.
that's what I'm hoping for. So, okay, what is your standout of the month, Mr.
Saga
Garvey?
Frontier remake. Now, I
Ooh.
never played the Saga Frontier the first one, but I did play Saga Frontier 2. And the thing that I liked about these games is they're kind of very vibrant in colors. I know that the second one was very pastel and kind of a watercolor design. The original one was more just bright, standout colors. Very quirky games. In the original one, I think you could pick between like 7 characters, and the story kind of intertwined all of them. But you could play through it 7 times. And I would really like to, it's hard to get these kind of PlayStation 1 games nowadays. I have the Saga Frontier 2 and I can play that now, but I don't have a way to legally, or, get the Saga Frontier 1 unless I want to buy it. And I don't really feel like emulating it. So, I'm really looking forward to that remake. I think it's a remake, not a remaster.
It's a remaster. No, it's a remaster.
Okay, so remaster means that it just up-res things, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's what I don't care. I don't want it to be like a Final Fantasy VII deal where they remake the whole thing. I just want it to upscale. Listen, they could bring back all the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games. Hey, just forget about all of them. Just bring back all the JRPGs of those 2 systems, maybe even the Sega Saturn and Dreamcast, and I'd be happy to let rest of my life. If you could buy them somewhere on Steam or Xbox or PlayStation, I'd be a happy fellow. Just upres it to 1080.
That's been the going thing, is remastering these games and remaking them. And I mean,
yeah, they're not doing fast enough though.
Well,
I know they did quite a few on PlayStation 3. You could get like PlayStation 1 and 2 games, and PlayStation 4 kind of has some PlayStation 2 games, and of course Xbox is backwards compatible. But I feel like there's a lot of lost stuff. What is it? Thousand Arms. That's never come back. I actually bought a reproduction of it. Let's just call it that. And I have a PlayStation 2 that's modded. It's got a chip in it, so it can play stuff, and it also can play Japanese stuff. Stuff like that. Kidalco is a PlayStation 1 game that it's so expensive. It's like $100 to buy it used, and so I bought the Japanese version for like $10, and luckily it has the English audio, but everything else, the text and all, is in Japanese. But if there was like Xenosaga, I actually foot the bill for those, and I got those again.
Okay. So
Xenosaga 1, 2, and 3. So I paid about probably like $60 each or something like that. I think the first one I only paid like $20 or $40, something like that. But hey, if you could put this on a store somewhere, even Steam, I would be a happy fellow.
Okay. All right. So let's. I'm looking at the time. I'm going to be cognizant of the time. And Indie Gamer, thanks for popping in here for a second. He was running behind because like I said, his show starts at 3, and we're gonna by gum. I'm gonna get us out of here.
I will turn this off, fellow.
By gum, I will get us out. I will get us out of here at 3. So, little thought. Yes, Yobi, it's a new show. Just something, and that's why we called it. I mean, I was trying to think of a thing to call it, so I went with, and now for something completely different, which some of you youngsters may not get that reference.
Monty Python's?
Yes, sir.
Flying Turkey?
Yes, sir. So, just something.
Call it
something
garbage,
different.
but Mike said no.
Oh, stop it. All right, so we got some random topics, and I was thinking about this, so we could either just kind of pick one, or we could each pick one, or we could do this in sort of a lightning round kind of way. We just do all of them, and we just do a couple sentences on each. What do you think?
You got them all there?
I got them all here.
Let's do a lightning round.
Lightning round. And that's what you know what? Maybe that's what we'll call it from now on instead of little thoughts. We'll pick a bunch of little topics, call it lightning round.
Okay.
See, we're developing the show as we speak.
as you can tell, I like Lightning. I got 2 of them. Actually, I have the third one. It couldn't be delivered to the PO box, so I delivered it to my ex's house. So I've got all 3 of the Lightning. So go on,
Nice.
Lightning.
All right. So first topic. What one genre of game and chat room, feel free to join us. What one genre of game could you live without?
Before I had got the point and click, I was gonna say point and click. Okay, I don't like the hidden objects. I've it is a bane of my society of my existence to try to go through Steam and say I dislike or what is it? I don't know. Ignore. You click on the ignore button on all of those games. Also, I don't like those puzzle games where it reveals the picture. It's usually naughty pictures. I wish there was a button where I could just click all of them ignore. I would really find more things on Steam if I could get rid of all of that crap. I'm sorry, but there's thousands of these 99-cent things and they're junk. I don't like them.
All right, so you would get rid of shovelware.
I guess that's called shovelware. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, good. And let's see. I would get rid of, and Dragonheart Yobi is kind of taking a little bit of my thunder. He says Halo Wars type of games. I would get rid of the RTS. I have no desire to play RTSs. I've tried Command and Conquer. I used to try those games. Used to get bored out of my mind with them. I tried playing Wasteland 3. I got bored out of my mind with it. Halo Wars, I didn't even mess with. If I want to play Halo, I'm going to play Halo. So for me, it's RTSs.
Yeah,
so
I agree with that. Pete, our friend OEB Pete, he likes them, so he might come after you now. But
oh,
yeah,
boy.
I agree.
All right, well, he's not.
I don't. Not real time.
I don't think he's watching. All right, very quickly. Jeff Rule says simulation. Back from the Dead says battle royale. Dragonheart Yobi says puzzle type of games and Halo Wars, which is what he said. And Inferno says RTS too. So I got people behind me. All right. Next
all
up.
That's shovelware to me, right?
All right. Lightning round part 2.
Part 2.
What makes a great controller?
I honestly feel that if it molds to your hand, if it feels good in your hand, and the buttons are very accessible to your thumbs and fingers without having to exert motion. Now, you and I have had some fisticuffs come up with the PlayStation 5 controller because you don't quite understand what I'm saying. But my thumb, when I tried it in the store, I took it out of the box. Don't tell anybody. And I had to reach. My thumb had to reach to press some of the buttons instead of laying flat on them. I would say the 360. Or this one right here, I think they're the best controllers because they fit good in my hand. Now I have small hands. My 20-year-old son Nick, I put my hand up and his hand's like this. I have really small hands, so I don't know. What's your thoughts on controllers?
All right, so I don't remember fighting with you about the PS5 controller, but you might. You're probably conflating me and Pete again. I'm not Pete. I'm not Pete. I don't even have a PS5 yet.
I have a certain set of skills. I never forget a face. No.
I don't have a PS5 yet, so I have no idea. Okay, for me, I'd have to say stick placement. So it's not that I don't like the DualShocks, but that asymmetrical stick placement has always been... And I've had that stick placement at least on the left hand as far back as the Sega Saturn with the Sega Saturn's analog controller. So I've always had I've always had that analog stick like up where my thumb's not kind of if I'm holding a controller, my fingers aren't both bending this way to try to play. I have one just a natural position for where your thumbs go. That to me, because especially if I'm going to play for a couple hours on end, hand comfort is something big. So that's for me, asymmetrical sticks.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the reason why I picked this controller is because I use the D-pad for games, mostly. and I got used to the PlayStation, parallel one. But to be honest with you, like I said, the 360 is probably one of the best, and maybe still is one of the best controllers ever. Um, it just molded well with my hands. And the Xbox One, I could never get used to because it was too big for me. And I think the Xbox Series X S one is similar, so I don't know if I'm going to like that. But I like you said, the offset is good
Yep.
because your thumb is where it should be on where you're on that stick.
Yes. Okay. Inferno says, fit in the hand. Jeff Rule says, Elite 2, just wish had haptic. Infinite says, I like weight in my hand.
Yeah.
Back from the Dead says, if it fits in your hand, you don't get cramps like he does with the DualShock controllers. And him and I probably think about that.
I only get that.
Pete says, we look good on his phone.
Oh,
there you
cool.
go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't, I only get that once a month, so I don't really worry about that.
Okay.
Haptic, I haven't really gotten into haptic. So, and weight, I like. I don't know. I'm crazy. I sometimes like the cheap Chinese knockoff PlayStation 2 controllers. You know why? Because PlayStation 2 didn't have wireless, and these things are flimsy and they're light, but they take batteries and they work. And so I don't mind if it. But I will tell you, the worst controller is the PlayStation 3. It is lighter than a feather.
Yeah.
And it feels like you could break it in half.
Right.
That's too light.
All right, Niall says he likes concave sticks, and OEBP just realized how to use YouTube on his phone. Welcome, brother Pete.
Yeah, last time he realized how to eviscerate me, So.
All right, next. What one lost feature from past gaming would you like to bring back?
I'd like to get rid of one, which is
what would you bring back from the past?
Bring back from the past feature. Loading screens. No, I'm just kidding. You go first.
What are you, a masochist? Okay. For me, it would be VMUs. I loved VMUs. I loved being able to pick my own football play without anybody else seeing it. I loved having stats and stuff come up on the screen that only I could see and my opponent couldn't. Are you
saying Amico?
Well, that maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, I am a shill.
Dreamcast. We all know you're saying Dreamcast.
I am saying Dreamcast, but I'm saying what one lost feature from past gaming I would bring back to VMU. So what about you?
Yeah, that's cool.
Brother Megatron's in the house. Go ahead.
I honestly think that the idea that Xbox or Microsoft has implemented with the easy swappable hard drive recalls to me a time when you used to have memory cards, and I actually kind of like that. I don't know why. I think it's a neat feature. I never really swapped my memory cards. I just stuck them in and they stayed in there, and they never had enough space. But now that you get what is it, 1 terabyte or is it 2 in the Xbox? One. Okay. It's expensive, but if everyone started doing that and they could get that down a little bit, I like that kind of really small tech. I like that kind of tech.
All right. Oh, Crow Continuum's in the house. Jeff Davis in the house. What's up, guys? All right, next up. Ooh. All right. Remember, we're rapid firing. We're lightning round. What gaming franchise would you resurrect and why? Just a couple sentences.
Shadow Hearts is one of the greatest RPGs of all time.
Very nice. All right. Jet Grind Radio. One of the coolest Sega franchises there is.
Most distinctive to one too. Anybody who sees one picture, no matter what, they know exactly
you know what it is. Yep. And that soundtrack. Ooh, I love that soundtrack. So.
Yep.
Crow says, I'm here till I'm not on hold with T-Mobile anymore. Well, I'm glad we could be your on hold music, Crow.
we're just as exciting as Muzak. Yep.
Yes.
Elevator music. What's the next one?
He said his daughter said we both sound funny. All right, real quick. Super Scope 6 from John Durman. Jeff Rule says Folklore. Back from the Dead says Skies of Arcadia. OEB, of course, Pete says Pitfall. And Jeff Rule says Castlevania. Good stuff, guys. All right, here we go. If Sega came back with another console, what would it look like and what would it be called? Well, that's an easy one.
It'd be called Pluto.
Okay.
Or would it be
Why?
called Uranus? I don't know. They stopped with the Saturn, well, and
I,
they had something in the works called Neptune. So what would it be? It would have to be.
sorry, my wife called. Okay. I would call it the Dreamcast 2.
Dreamcast 2, that would be a cool name.
Yeah.
And what would it be? What would it
I
be?
think
A disc?
that's a good question. You know what? No, because there's really no need for it.
Wait a second. What if it was a modern thing, but crossed with a um, past one? You know how kind of the Atari VCS wanted to do that, but they wanted it to be a computer as well. What if it was a Dreamcast that could work as an old Dreamcast? It had a disc, could only play old Dreamcast games, but inside the internals you could also download old games, but you could also play new games, but it would only be off of the hard drive.
Well, mm, so like now, basically.
What I'm saying is, you know that Polymega,
Yeah.
it'd be the Polymega, but just for Dreamcast.
Okay.
But but
All
you
right.
could also buy new games like a Tomb Raider game.
All right. Fair enough. All right.
Yeah. All
Um,
right. Well, a
Annihilator
thought.
says Mega Drive 2. Oh, Bacon. Brother Rich said he'd bring back Lunar. By the way.
Oh, Lunar.
Annihilator says Mega Drive 2. Geeks will guess at each top with Dreamcast. We know. We're just guessing. Jeff Rule says Dreamcast Classic. Pete says Tower of Doom 2. Fastback says Uranus. Jesus.
Yeah, yeah.
Doctor JW says he called it the Orbit. And Jeff Rule says VCS. Stop it.
Hey, Mike. You
Yes.
know, scientists, they're going to change the name of Uranus so it's not being made fun of anymore. It's
And
going
they're
to be
just
called
going to call your
Rectum.
ass. Your rectum.
Your
Rectum. Damn near killed him. All right, here we go. How many games owned is too many games?
There's never too many games. Owned. Jeez. My kids have over 1,000 or 2,000. I have probably 1,000. I don't know. How many do you think is too many? 7? I don't know.
If you have more than Papa Pete, you might have too many games.
How many? How many does he have?
He's I mean, I don't know. He's got a ton. So Crow says depends on how much space you have for him. That's a good one. Jeff Rule says infinity. All right. And no, Fastback, the mini Game Gear does not count. Sorry, no. All right, next up. Ooh, good one. Which way do you prefer gaming? Sofa and large TV or desk and PC monitor?
You know, I was going to say sofa and large TV, but since I've been playing the Xbox Game Pass on my desk and monitor on my PC, I like it that better. I think it's more intimate. I'm closer to the screen. I can have my headphones on, and I can have my favorite controller. It's 8-bit Duo. Go buy it. They don't sponsor us, but this is a really cool controller.
All right, you see that area over there? That's where I sit. My
Yeah.
TV is 81 inches.
Holy!
They don't I don't call it Mike on the couch for nothing.
My goodness.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I usually do, Mike? If I don't want to listen to the game itself, I'll put on my headphones and turn on my PlayStation 4 and put it on YouTube. I know that's sacrilegious. And I'll listen to YouTube and then I'll just play a game on my PC that's right in front of me. So
There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, but that's kind of a waste of a 50-inch monitor and a PlayStation 4 Pro.
Mike,
Just
so
to use it for YouTube.
I am apparently overcompensating.
Listen, I got small hands.
That's what Chris says. I'm overcompensating. All right.
Yeah,
Rich says tied sofa and handheld. Tied sofa. Okay. Are you a snack gamer, one who plays a little of each game but plays a lot of games, or a substance gamer, one who sticks with the game until the end?
I've been infected by the Pete snack gaming, and I haven't completed a game in a long time, and I kind of just jump around now. There's just so many games out there, and to have to be able to talk about them, that's all I can't, that's all I have to do that, So I just jump around.
Okay. I have become more of a substance gamer as I've gotten older. So if I find something that I like, and like right now, a Plague's Tale is one I'm working on. I'll just play it to the end, and then I'll move on to the next game. And if I really, really like the game, I'll either go after the platinum trophy if it's on PlayStation, or I'll try to get the 1,000 score if it's on Xbox.
Sweet,
So,
yeah.
brother Jeff from Go Game Go is here.
Oh, see, there you go. Go, Gamigo.
Go Gamego. Hey, we are brothers featured in the Intellivision Amico Astro Smash video. I have officially been called a shill multiple times now, along with Jeff. So apparently my check from Tommy is not cleared yet. So I'm gonna have to not like the Amico for a while, because that's how it works. But anyway, that's for a whole different M squared. All right, last one. What video game character would you, Michael Garvey, like to be?
Sonic, because he goes real fast.
I was gonna say Sonic.
Well, you can pick that Wario character. What?
I'm fat. I'm fat enough to be Wario. That's for sure. Let's see. What video character would I like to be? I could be either main character from Double Dragon.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, John, Leisure Suit Larry. Jeff says Nathan Drake. Jeff Rule says Batman. Oh, Batman. There you go.
Batman. Yeah. That's
okay,
cool.
So that's the lightning round, and we'll do that once a month, and we'll rattle through some stuff and some quick hits. Now, topic of the month, and we could probably spend about 10 minutes on this, and then we'll wrap up to get us out of here on time. So the topic of the month, which you have picked, and if I could click the right thing, thank you. Could more than one portable system exist in today's market? And this kind of goes along with, so the way you wrote this, you wrote 4 kind of topics, but two of them kind of go together. So can more than one portable system exist in today's market? And with the Evercade being a portable system and the Amico not necessarily being a portable system, but does the gaming space have room for these and still be able to thrive with, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and the growing market of game consoles? And let's throw in Stadia and what's the Amazon, which they haven't really talked about. Yeah. So let's start there. Let's start with the handheld part of it. We've got Nintendo has discontinued, ceased production of the 3DS. So now what we have is the Switch is their main handheld. And Geeks with Cash is kind of going where I'm going. The Switch is technically a handheld. I don't consider it a console.
I consider it a handheld as well. It has a chip in there that was designed for portable stuff. And the NVIDIA Shield was originally a portable. They put a home console on it as well, but let's be honest, it's a portable chip, and everything the design has to go to the specs of the lowest part, which is the portable part. They can upscale stuff, but I don't mind that being that way. I think they were very smart. Now, this might be controversial because I know there's a lot of Nintendo files or whatever. But if you chart the success of each Nintendo system, and if you take out the Wii and you take out the DS, which came out around the same time, let's take those out. Every system sold less than the last system. Nintendo, the original NES sold great. The Super Nintendo sold less. The Nintendo 64 sold less. The GameCube sold less. And the Wii U sold less. So it was a downward trajectory. I'm taking out the Wii and the DS. Same thing with their portable. The GameCube or the Game Boy sold the most, kept going down, down, down. Now that they've combined it, they've combined their portable and their home market. I think that was the smartest thing in the world. Now we have to measure their successes if combined they break their records, because I think that they're going to be on an uptick. I think the Switch is the new Wii and DS put together. I think it's a great product, and I mean they've already distinguished that there's a home version and a portable version, even though it's the same thing, but one of them just doesn't dock. The other thing I want to tell you about the reason why the DS or the Switch is a not a home system is it because the dock only just makes you put it on the TV. It doesn't add anything else. It doesn't boost anything.
That's not true. That's not necessarily true. So in many cases, resolution gets boosted when you're docked.
It's not based off of any external. The dock does not have any external GPU or anything else.
It does not. But when a game is docked, it does upscale. To
yeah. Well, my PSP or my Vita would do the same thing if I docked it. So it's still a portable system.
Oh, I agree. It's still a portable system. I'm not arguing that point.
If when it docked, it kind of connected to another GPU or CPU GPU combo, and kind of Sega Saturned it, and had two systems working together, two CPUs working together, then I would agree that it would be a home system. But since it only just upscales or does better performance, that I don't think that's the same thing. I mean, you'd be able to play all the recent games. You wouldn't have to stream like Control. You'd be able to play it natively, if it was docked, if it was a real dock,
Okay, I mean that's fair. I was just pointing out. I was just pointing out what happens when you dock games. Some of them come up to 1080p, and yeah. And some of that might also just be the screen and what happens through HDMI. So some of it could actually be downscaling. So
yeah. So do you think there's enough room for all these extras? Because Evercade is portable, and then Amico, even though it's not portable, it is a third fourth wheel to the system. I mean, are we getting too many systems, or is this just enough? Is this the sweet spot?
So I tend to put the Evercade and the Amico in two separate categories. The Evercade and look, I'm sort of, I feel like a giant hypocrite on this, because I keep going back and forth on getting one. It's like every time I watch the Evercast, which is coming up at 4, I shameless plug for my boys. I go, yeah, man, I really want this. But then I go back and I go to the Evercade website and I look at the videos and I'm like, but I don't want to play a bunch of Atari games and NES games. I just, if I wanted, I'm just not, those weren't, like, I was an Intellivision guy. I wasn't an Atari 2600 guy, and I really don't want to play 2600 games. So I'm almost holding out at this point until I see some real arcade stuff on the Evercade. And when that starts to hit, like the Interplay collection. I think it's the Interplay collection. Is that the one that has Bad Dudes Dragon Ninja on it? It's either that one or the Data East. I'm sorry, the Data East collection. But it's the NES version. I want the arcade version. I want I want to play arcade games on it. It's why it's called the Evercade. And so,
is that why it's called that?
Well, I didn't name it. I'm sorry. And I keep waffling on whether or not I want to get it or not. It's got great Genesis games, NES games, some 16-bit stuff. I just Crow says it's the Evercade, not the Ever Arcade. Thank you, Crow. But I feel like if I'm going to...
Are you sure it's not pronounced Eve Arcade?
Well, but it's an E-Arcade. So, yeah. Anyway, I just keep, I don't know. So, but here's the thing: demographics are different for all of these. And the great thing is we have so many more gamers in the pool now. Tommy Tallarico always talks about this. How many gamers and how many people that play games are in the demographic pool now? It's Phil Spencer actually talks about this when he talks about his xCloud and things like that. There's a billion gamers out there where 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when gaming was still kind of niche, then there might have only been a couple million gamers. So the pool is big. The Evercade points to a certain demographic, which is retro gamers. I mean, it's pointed directly at retro gamers. The Amico is not. Yes, retro gamers are a part of that demographic, but Tommy's been very straightforward that the Amico is pointed towards parents with kids, towards that Wii demographic that Nintendo caught lightning in a bottle with. So getting us old guys to buy an Amico is I'm fine with them admitting this. We're gravy. We're bonus points for them. If I'm a Founders Edition and I'm getting it partially for me, that's just extra cream on the top of the frappuccino for Intellivision. So I think they can all exist. I mean, obviously the Xbox, the Switch, the PS4 or PS5 can all exist together. I think there's room enough for all of this because they all hit a different point.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like Phil Spencer and Tommy Tallarico's mention of the billion gamers or whatever, but I do think that they might overplay that a little bit too much, because saying that there's a large pool of things and not parsing it up, Phil Spencer, I'm sorry, is not going to get the Farmville or Candy Crush crowd to buy into his network, his Game Pass. They have a phone, they have a tablet, and they're not going to do that. Now, Tommy has a better idea because his stuff looks more like the casual market would like. And some of the people, the grandmothers or the mothers that had Intellivisions back in the day might say, hey, this is kind of what I'm playing now on my phone, but it harkens back to when I was a kid and played this. Or I want my grandson or my son to play this, and it seems friendly, family friendly. So I think he has a little bit more stake in that 2 billion people. I will say this. I talked to my girlfriend's mom, and I said, hey, what you playing there? And she said, oh, it's a game, Witch's Brew or something like that. I said, that's Bubble Bobble, right? And she goes, what? I said, that's an arcade game that now is on. It was on the NES. It's been on all our systems. They're playing our games. It's just they put candy on them, and they put like a little fancy little girl in a witch hat, and they call it Witch's Brew or whatever the heck it is.
Right.
Of course, they're mostly for free if you want to pay money to go more. But she never does that. But I mean, that's the market. That's the billion people. Let's be honest.
Right. Yeah, but okay, so
hyper casuals.
All right, so let's get back to the crux of the question, because we do have to wrap up. And Jeff Rule wants me to ask you about the Vita 2, about a possible Vita 2. Let's say, all right, so we got the Evercast, we've got the Switch, there's still plenty of DSs out there, even if Nintendo's not making them. I mean, there's plenty of. So can a Vita 2 coexist with all this?
Oh yeah, it can. It's called the Switch Lite. That's the market right there.
But so another portable system couldn't exist in this market now.
Nope.
Okay.
Maybe it's Razer Kishi when you hook that up to your phone and you play Game Pass on it. Maybe you could call that a Vita 2. But no, it's the mobile market. Remember, mobile market was supposed to take over everything. Well, it took over one thing. I tell you one. It took over the handheld market. It didn't get rid of PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, but it did get rid of the mobile.
True. That is a good point. That is a good point. So
the only thing we have, the only savior we have, is Nintendo Switch Lite. So
okay.
That's why I support it, because all my games from Vita came over to the Switch Lite, so I can play all the games from the Vita on the Switch. So
Right.
that's that. Yep.
All right. Crow Continuum says if Sony put out a Vita 2, they'd forget about it in 9 months. That's a good point too.
Sony's ridiculous.
No. Okay.
Sell off their Universal Studios or whatever they have.
Sell it. So I think we're going to have to wrap on just kind of just a quick thought for the week. I think what we're going to have to do, Mike, we're going to have to. I think we may have to next time around do a 1:30 start, and I think because I like this, and I think we could get into some really good conversation, but I think we're going to need 90 minutes to do it. 60 minutes is not enough for us.
And also, we had 10 topics the lightning round. I think we should go down to like 7 or something.
We could do
That'll
that.
Give us more time on the topic of the month. So 90 minutes and a little bit more time on the topic.
All right. So
let's wrap up.
Let's wrap up. Because I want to get to Indie Gamer. If Indie Gamer comes on at 3 and then Evercast comes on at 4, I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to see the rest of the Gamers United Guild stuff. So, Mr. Garvey, what's your wrap up?
I want to direct everybody to American McGee on Patreon. Just type in American McGee. He created American McGee's Alice. He also did Tomb 2 and Quake. He was prolific, and he also did Alice Madness Returns. He's trying to do a third Alice. He's trying to get EA to give him the rights, not the full rights, just the rights to publish it. They would still get money and they would still keep the rights. But he's a long way away. But go out there and check it out. He also has American McGee on YouTube. All his Patreon posts, he posts them up on YouTube like a couple days later for free. So if you don't want to give any money, you can just at least look there and see the status of this game. It's going to be a couple years out, but it's pretty fascinating. He's doing crowd design. You can actually give him hints as to what you think the levels and the story should be, and he does take your stuff into account. He's taking some of my stuff into account. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. All right,
support.
Yeah. So my wrap up is this coming. Let's see, on the not this coming week, but the following week, it's going to be one of the first games to come out on a next gen system that really, I think, takes advantage of the SSD and some of the big features of these next gen consoles, and that is the Medium. If anybody hasn't seen the 15-minute video on the Medium yet, where and I'm not a horror game guy, like I'm not a big Resident Evil type guy. I know you are. If horror games were also dungeon crawlers, you would be in your element. I'm telling you. But the medium looks incredible, and that entire dual reality thing is something it's going to honestly, I think you're talking about one of the first true kind of revolutionary gameplay mechanics for the next gen. Yes. So I'm looking forward to checking it out, and like I say, I'm not a big horror game guy, but that's going to be one of my games to look at. So,
all right, go check out that other stream that's going on right now, and
let me see if Indie Gamer's gotten started yet. He might be running a couple minutes late, so we're not running over him. But I tell you, Mike, this is a really I really enjoyed this.
I'm loving it. I like it.
I like this. So M Squared will run this once a month, maybe around the same time, middle of the month. But I'm thinking we should do 90 minutes, and we could talk about that. We got all month to talk about that. So
perfectly fine, and then we'll cut down the lightning round, so we'll get more time.
Absolutely.
So, go check out.
Where can they find you, Mike? Where can people find you?
On PM in the PM. I'll let you know when I start casting again on my channel. I'll let you know.
All right. And you guys all know you can't find me on Twitter anymore, so come hang out in our Discord. Oh, AT&T hung up on Crow, or T-Mobile hung up on Crow.
Wow.
It sucks. Well, Crow, I'm glad you were able to hang out with us. All right, so go check out the Indie Gamer. We're going to do the Indie Games podcast now, and then at 4 o'clock, head over to OEB Pete's channel for the Evercast with Pete and Brother Bacon Ice Cream Productions, who's in the chat, Brother Rich Haywood. And we will see you guys soon. And Thursday night, the NLG show returns with myself, Peter Hutink, and Chris Williams. Thank you guys, and man, what a great debut.
Bye for now.
Play on, gamers. Hold on, let me. I'm gonna run. Oh shoot! Hang on. This is me screwing up the intro. Don't worry, we're gonna hammer all this out. Bye, guys.